Today is the biggest day ever. Today is the biggest day ever of our lives. We could see a mega crypto bull run or everything could nuke. Currently, it is dumping, but this doesn't really matter. This isn't the point. The longs, the shorts will get liquidated based on what this Jerome Powell says at this meeting. Now, people are saying, wouldn't it be funny if they didn't cut rates today? There's only a 3% chance that that can't happen. And I don't think it's funny, Mr. Gurgavin. I don't think it's funny, Mr. Monobrow. Because then everybody's bags are going to nuke because of UG. That ain't funny at all. But that is a possibility for sure. Now, let's look into this.
So the Federal Reserve is expected to finally cut interest rates today. Now, everyone has been waiting all year for this to happen because central banks all over the world have already cut this year, except for the United States. Now, typically, this is actually very bullish for alternative assets like crypto. Last September, when the Fed cut, Bitcoin then went on to break new all-time highs and we had an amazing bull run. But here's the thing, if they cut rates, it's actually coming at a very strange time. Because like I said, cutting rates is typically very bullish because when you cut rates, there's more liquidity to flow into alternative assets. But we've been in a bull run for nearly 2 years. And bull runs don't really last longer than 2 years. I don't believe in all that super cycle hype, it's just not true. So despite the Fed cutting rates, I just don't see the market going parabolic in 2026. And as always, when the Fed does cut rates, there's going to be a lot of volatility. There could be some short-term pullbacks, a bit like a buy the rumor, sell the news event, but it is still a bullish event. So I do think the market is primed to pump in Q4, but because we've been in a bull run for nearly 2 years, I don't think it's going to go on much longer. This means when we do pump, it's going to be quick and you need to be fast. You need to secure your profits as soon as possible because it just can't go on much longer.
That's a fact. And she doesn't come out with much positive and good information, but I'd agree with her there. This is the last stage, man. Look at where everything is. Look at where Bitcoin is. Look at where the S&P 500 is, bruh. It's at all-time highs, man. It's at all-time highs. And eventually this is going to pull back. Now, if we get a pullback and then fly to the last leg of the bull market, which is usually the most explosive, or it's all over after this, we don't know. I do expect further upside. I just don't know how it's going to happen. Let's actually look at the liquidations beforehand, because this will tell us if there's a lot of shorts and longs in the market. And if there is, then that means everybody's getting smoked. Yeah, there looks like there's a lot of longs and shorts, bro. Everyone's getting smoked, and there seems to be more longs. So I'm actually arguing in the midterm, we're going down, bruh. Because what will the Fed do to their market? See a 91% chance that the Fed will cut interest rates by 25 basis points, which I think will be neutral. Not much will happen. We might go lower. But if we get a 50 basis points, then that'll pump the markets. Maybe we'll pump and then we'll dump, but we are going to dump at some point. I just don't know how it's going to happen. Maybe we get a flash dump. That's why you need to have orders ready. That's why you need to also have stop losses, because this day is important. It's very important. It would also build on September 2024's 50 basis point rate cut, which marked the first start to a rate cut cycle with a 50 basis point cut since 2008. All eyes on this, brother, the Fed today. So my prediction for today's FOMC, I've literally just explained that. But if you're into meme coins, this is who you're actually trading against. This is nasty, bro. Look at this. Bro's rugged it, man. He's rugged it. He's got paid, man. That's nasty. And I've seen this again, actually. Look, people will do anything to pump their bags. These trenches don't care. Yo, that guy's mad. These trenches don't care. Look at him. He's ragging your door. This is the guy that's taking all your money. My God, do not be an L to him. At least not to him. And the entire move is leverage longs while spot is selling and exiting. Have fun. This could be a nuke, you know. You have to be very careful, especially with the economy being so bad. The top 10% of income earners in the US now account for nearly half of all consumer spending, a record high. It just doesn't look good, bro. You're right, we aren't in 2008. It's worse. New homes for sale. Oh my word. Student loans. Nobody's paying back the student loan. Everyone's getting cooked. Bro, it's bad. US dollars tanking. What on earth is going on? We're literally living in the worst society ever. Thank your parents. Everything's at an all-time high, and now they're going to cut rates. It just doesn't make sense for it to pump higher. I'm going to be honest, for me, you have to be cautious. But easy money is entering the market, bruh. So, just the leverage traders are getting cooked. That's all I'm saying, because Bitcoin usually follows gold. So it is just a matter of time.
$3,700. This is happening because the dollar is getting weaker. Over the last year, the DXY chart has been pulling back. This is basically showing the strength of the US dollar. Because it's getting weaker, people are looking at alternative asset classes like gold. And when gold pumps, it basically leads the way for all other alternative asset classes. Next, we'll see precious metals move. Silver is already moving. Tech stocks, crypto, Bitcoin will move first, and then the rest of the market will follow. But the thing is, the reason alternative assets right now are pumping is because there's so much going on geopolitically. Wars in the Middle East are increasing. Tariff wars, trade tensions, culture wars, there's so much geopolitical uncertainty, and that is why people are moving to safe haven assets like gold. It's an alternative asset class, so other alternative assets are going to follow. Q4 is basically primed to be extremely bullish. On top of all of this, the Fed is supposed to be cutting rates this week. It could be a little bit of a buy the rumor, sell the news event. I don't disagree with that argument. However, once the market feels that extra liquidity sloshing around, well, that's going to be moved into crypto. So Q4 is primed to be extremely bullish.
Yep. US stock market hits its most expensive valuation in history. You don't want to be the guy buying at this stage. I've sold a lot of my stocks, surpassing the dot-com bubble and the run-up to the Great Depression. So even if you are going to buy, let's say you are going to buy, at least limit your losses by using a stop loss.
So today,
you unrealized losses on investment security. Banks are cooked too. I'm going to put it simple. Banks are cooked. Grok says Casper will hit $1 in 70 days. I won't trust Grok, but let's see. Help with mortgage. Wow, bruh. It is not looking good at all, brev. But apparently, we're getting an alt season. So it's yin and a yang. Just be careful. See how it goes. You don't want to get cooked. But at the same time, you won't mind a little bit extra bread, eh?